Talk TV, we back again.
Welcome to Talk That Talk Media, where the vibe is live. DJ and Tik Tok are hype, keeping dreams alive. Welcome to Talk That Talk Media, where the vibe is live. DJ and Tik Tok are hype, keeping dreams alive. Bringing you reactions, reviews and slick recaps. Join the conversation, no time for mishaps. Trends will uncover, every beat devour. With fresh insights and energy will never tire. From pop culture to the latest in the game, dive in with us. You want to stake your claim, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Talk That Talk Media. Welcome to Talk That Talk Media.
What's up, everybody? What is up? What is up? What is up? It's your girl EJ in the building.
And it is your girl Tika.
And y'all, we are back with another Talk That movie review. Y'all, listen, today we're going to be talking about It, because after Tika and I dived into Welcome to Derry, It, we realized that we didn't know Ish. We was asking a lot of questions. So we was like, you know what? We need to go and watch It and figure out what the heck is going on, because, you know, just way too many questions. So not only did we do that, we watched it, but we said we need to bring in an expert, somebody who knows all about horror, so that they can walk us through this thing, because y'all know we don't know. Y'all know. So let me go ahead and bring up our local horror expert. Y'all already know who it is, Miss K. Bly from Slice of Horror.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, no, I'd be ready for it.
The experts is in
Book,
the
and I should have went
building.
and grabbed the book, because I got the book and everything. You know, I'll have to go to my references and whatnot. But yeah, It Chapter 1, 90s version. Welcome to Derry. Let's go.
Okay, we doing the 2017 version.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said like okay.
Mhm.
Listen.
It's all
And
connected.
she got the damn clown on the wall, y'all. If y'all can see,
Oh, I
she
just
has
saw
the
that.
clown.
Oh God.
Pennywise is kicking it over there at K. Bly. So that's how y'all know she is without a doubt the expert in this subject matter, okay?
I cannot. Oh my goodness. I didn't even notice that at first until you just pointed that out. Girl, that clown is doing too much. Seriously though. But yeah, so here's the thing. So Tika and I were going to watch the 1991, and then Kay was like, "Nah, look, that's that baby version. Y'all need to go now." No, but we learned that was the TV adapted version, and we wanted to look at something that was more closely aligned to Welcome to Derry, so that we would have a little bit more references. So Kay recommended that we looked at the 2017 version. So that's exactly what we did. We actually looked at part 1, and then next week we're going to come back and bring y'all part 2 when we check that out. Okay. So first and foremost, Tika, did it take you out, girl? Because you know we was looking at it together. I know what was happening, but you know I'ma ask.
Oh, well, watching Stephen King's It, the 2017 version, part 1, I definitely had a couple of jump scares. I had my trusty blanket with me. I definitely was doing this number, like pulling the thing over my head. Like, and then in the other part of my mind, I was like, how dare EJ force me to watch this shenanigan? Like, what the hell? Like, it was just a lot. But you know, I'm still here for it. I've been watching the other one with the lights on and during the daytime, and I know Kay said watch it without the lights, but no, what we're not gonna do is
Watch
this foolishness with the lights off. Okay,
girl, you better than me, because ain't no way. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it in the daytime and with the lights on or something. Or I need just people to be walking around. Matter of fact, it's probably gonna have to be a group affair again for me, because I'm not doing this nighttime stuff. What's up to everybody in the chat? We appreciate y'all coming through and hanging out to talk it with us. All in with LEC, our girl Candy Love, who went ghost on us, by the way. FYI, but we gonna let her slide because she was on locale, so we get it. Tamika's dead. Thank you for coming through. Lemon Kush Pepper. Thank you guys for coming through. And anybody else who's out there in the chat who hasn't had a chance to say anything, thank y'all so much. Make sure to just come over and say hello, how you doing? You know, something like that. And if you just happen to be watching this on the replay, please drop down and give us a comment, y'all. We're about to jump into this. Now, this movie was 2 hours-ish and some change. And I went in and I downloaded that Audible book. That thing is 44 hours. 44 hours. And I just want you to know, Tika, that is going to be our next book after our other book. But we gonna need a lot of time for that one.
I'm just letting y'all know the books get a little rough. It's some things to talk about that happening in the book with the Losers Club. It's some wild stuff going on there that they ain't even putting in the Welcome to Derry because it's a little, you know, Stephen King was on that powder. So some things you're gonna have to excuse.
He was indeed on some powder.
He had to be on some powder with these doggone clowns and all these other things. I mean, and half the stuff that he writes, like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Today I have been on a rabbit hole into this, and then I realized that, you know what? I don't literally want to recap this, like, as in a recap. I really want to talk about it a little bit differently, just because 2 hours, that's a rough this. So I decided to do it a little bit differently. I'm trying to get my slides up. I've been multitasking today, y'all. Y'all got to excuse me. I had my stuff in order.
I want y'all to know my daughter was laughing at y'all. And she watched It Chapter 1 last year when she was 8 years old. And was like, oh, that wasn't scary at all.
Oh my goodness, it's in the genes. See, I'm telling you.
She went to bed and everything just fine. Ain't need no lights on or nothing.
Hey. She get it from her mama. That's all I can say, because I'll be doggone. I'll be darned.
Not
not gonna be able to do it. I used to see, you know how they say when, like you can see like dark figures. So when I was a little girl, seriously, I used to be able to see dark figures, and that just turned me off of the horror world. It really turned me off because I'm like, I don't want to go to bed and have to see another dark figure. So yeah,
you were supposed to reach out and say something to him.
The devil is a lie.
Okay, girl, you done lost your mind. Who said
I ain't reaching out to nothing. They mess around and tell me some mess. I'll be around here stabbing up folks.
How you know they need your help with something?
No, not the one.
Girl.
They clearly knew I wasn't the one.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Listen, I always wondered how that little chicken, remember that TV show Ghost? Wasn't no way I was about to be out here helping these people run around.
They needed some help. You know?
No. They listen, well, I don't know them like that. I ain't risking nothing. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get it, because you know what? You'll float too. That was funny. I ain't gonna lie. After researching this a little bit further, I learned a lot. So the first thing I did was I've been asking everybody, what is it? So Kay told me when we were watching it, that it was a cosmic being. So I looked a little bit further and I just put a little ad lib here, that it is this cosmic being that landed on Earth a long time ago. It comes back every 27 years. It awakens and it feeds on the people of Derry, primarily the kids, because they're easier to basically scare, because it feeds on fear. So listen, y'all, don't be out here being scary, because I wasn't scared watching it. I don't know if Tika was, but I wasn't.
Girl, I know you lying. Don't. I know. You just listen, y'all. Since she want to go there, I was trying to keep our business in our business. But as we were watching this, EJ was saying, who's y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Wasn't nobody calling her, wasn't nobody talking to her. She was hearing
I don't remember that.
Yeah, this is EJ the whole time.
I absolutely remember it. Exactly.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, she did way more of those than I did. I'm just saying. What's up, everybody? She did that.
Boy. They be telling stuff. I don't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Not gonna do.
I don't know what y'all talking about. So listen, the opening scene of it was interesting because it went straight into the chaos right away. And what I noticed from that is that in Welcome to Derry, it did the same exact thing. Like they go straight to the. I said, y'all just ain't gonna waste no time, like just taking us down through it, because why we got to be out here snatching up these kids like this? But in the opening scene, we meet Bill. I think his real name is William, but people be calling him Bill. I ain't never understood that, y'all. But anyway, that's not for me to know. So we meet Bill and we meet his little brother Georgie, and of course Bill is sick and he can't go outside with his little brother, right? And so he makes him this little boat thing. And why is these kids out here in the rain? I do not know, but it is what it is. That's another subject too, all in itself. But he ends up losing his boat because he ends up hitting his head on the thing, and then the boat goes into the little sewer thing, and then that is when we meet what I now know as Pennywise. Because girl, I've been asking about Penny for a long time. Tika, opening scene, like what were your initial thoughts just of like getting this immediate, that thing bit that baby whole arm off, just bit it off.
Yeah, initially, of course, first of all, I like the little brotherly connection, which is going to feed into us understanding why Bill is going to feel the way that he does. He loved his little brother. He's going to feel some guilt because he done sent his baby brother out there to the damn devil, y'all. And Pennywise, first he comes off as innocent and charming, and then them little eyes go to glowing, and baby boy, his boat, poor Georgie, y'all. His boat went down that storm drain, which his brother had just handmade it. Then he talked him. So that fear of your brother's going to beat your butt for losing this boat. And, Georgia was like, no, let me get it, give it to me here. Okay. He get it. And then he snatched the baby arm off. Like, what the hell? Did you really have to take his arm? Did you have to listen, Pennywise is demented, demonic, like all those things, and I was just so sad for Georgie. But then this old lady across the street saw the whole darn thing happen. I'm like, what, lady? You not gonna say anything? So y'all basically sacrificing kids over here in Derry. That's what I want to know. And so yeah,
doing too much. Opening scene, Kay. What were your thoughts just about the opening scene?
I enjoyed it.
Too much.
Of course you would.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, last year I did a top 10 of my favorite cold openings from horror movies, and this was definitely one of them, because it lets you know from the start that anybody can get it. Like, we don't care. Like, Georgie was like one of the most innocent people you could ever see. He was a sweet little boy, and all he wanted to do was go outside and play. And in the sense of horror movies, you're like, why would you mess with this innocent boy? He ain't hurt nobody. He ain't doing nothing. It's a small child. But this movie comes in, it's just like, okay, that the more food for us. Like, we don't care. As a matter of fact, let's get it started. We're gonna jump right in to let y'all know we ain't playing no games with this movie. And yes, the adults be right there when all of this foolishness is happening, and they don't be saying nothing. They don't do nothing about it because they can't. They're kind of like under this supernatural force from the entity, to where they are kind of complicit in the feeding cycles of this entity. So every time it goes out to feed, all of these kids go missing. The adults don't do anything about it, and they literally can't do anything about it. So poor Georgie.
Yeah, Georgie, and which parallels for me to poor Susie, because that's all I kept thinking was like, Susie didn't ask for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all she was doing was going to the freaking thing with her brother because he just happened to be her babysitter. She wouldn't have even been there if her mom and daddy had just been at the house. I blame them.
They would have let her go anyway, because they don't care. The grown-ups in Derry don't give a damn about these kids. They don't care.
They really don't, girl. They really, really don't. They do not care about these kids. But yeah, that definitely was a cold opening. And I feel like it set the tone so much that we knew exactly what we was about to deal with. Because when I tell you I got to that clown real quick, I thought I wanted the clown. I didn't want him. They could have kept him. But we got to meet the losers, y'all, because we get introduced to the first set, and then there are 3 that are going to be added on. And I kind of want to talk about them individually, and we'll talk about the things that happen in the show from here, and that's kind of how we'll kind of go through it. So I want to talk about Bill first, because, of course, Bill, which is who we were just speaking about, his little brother. And I do want to point out that this movie centers around all these traumatized people, like all these traumatized kids. Like every last single one of these kids have something in their life, whether it's a bigger trauma. I don't even think you can really say bigger or smaller, but you know what I'm saying? Whether it's something that is just extreme or something that is, not so extreme, they all traumatized, every last one of them. But we have Bill, who, of course, is still basically reeling from the fact that his little brother has gone missing and has never been found. And he's very, very clear to say the word missing because everybody really thinks that he's gone, right? Like they think that but Bill just says missing. And he even came up with this elaborate thing that he used with the tunnels to see where his little brother would have come out. And I'm gonna talk about them trash parents in a minute after we get through all the losers. But Bill is just wanting to find his brother, and that's it. He has a stuttering problem, so people behind his back call him Stuttering Bill. That's mean, of course. But he's friends with Stan, Richie, and Eddie. And of course, like I said, the rest of them will kind of come into play a little bit later. But one of my main things that I think I like about Bill, and I'm gonna go to y'all because I want to know what y'all like about Bill and what y'all most memorable moments of Bill are. But I just like how he was tenacious about trying to find his brother. Like he wasn't about to give up on it. He didn't care. He was gonna. He to me, he was the one that was the least fearless. Like he was just like even when they went into the house and all the stuff was going down at the house, he was like, I'm still going to go find my little brother no matter what. I think a lot of this comes from guilt more than anything. But at the same time, I don't know. I just really liked his character a lot. Kay, what are your thoughts on Bill? Like, what are your favorite moments from just him or just, summarizing him up in your words?
Bill is just guilt stricken because he knows his little brother just really wanted to play with him on that day. And Bill didn't feel like playing at that time. I mean, he's just like the older brother, and sometimes the little siblings begin on your nerves. And he's just like, here, take this boat and go on and get out my face. And Bill was laying down up in that bed like something, but he wasn't even sick that day. And he admits it when he's like much older that he was just faking. So he faked sick so he could be in the bed when he really could have actually got up and played with his brother, or at least went outside to watch him or something. And he didn't do it. So he's carrying around all of this guilt. And of course, he's the most fearless out of the bunch because there is no trauma that can be placed upon you, like losing your little sibling at a time where you feel like it didn't have to happen. And then dealing with everybody saying, well, he's deceased now. Like he's gone. He's not missing. He's like all these other kids that we don't find, they're gone. Like that's it. And his parents dealing with the grief and then being angry about it. And so I think that he just felt like if he could redeem himself, if he could be the one to find his brother. So he felt like he could heal his grief and make his parents and stuff feel better if he could find what is his name? Little Georgie. He was more afraid of what would happen if the truth came out that Georgie was dead. Like that's what he feared. His worst possibility was that his brother was truly gone.
Yeah. And I think it's hard when you don't have a body. Like, I think that when there's no body, that makes it more difficult for people, just in theory, like just in general, like, because you want to hold on to that hope because you don't have to accept it because there's nothing physically there for you to see. TK, what are your thoughts about Bill? Like, what were just your overall thoughts and how you felt about this character?
Yeah, I mean, I like Bill, of course, the bigger brother, but he was seeking closure, but also Bill was giving me Butcher from from the boys. Like Butcher didn't care about nobody else's feelings and nobody else's concerns and issues. He just wanted what he wanted, and that was to go and find his brother. I understood it. Again, just like what Kay was saying, that for the closure of parents, make his family feel better. But then at certain points, he was a good friend, but then he was also just giving me Billy Butcher vibes. Like, y'all
Girl,
doing it
don't do
or
him like
not?
that.
I did. And you know I like Butcher. You know I
And
like Butcher.
Butcher had a lot of guilt too. He was trying to do a lot
Exactly.
of
The
stuff to
guilt.
cover up
It was the guilt.
to cover up his guilt too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't stand Butcher. But yeah, but I do get it. That is a good comparison. Just, Bill's just so much nicer. But let's talk about Stan, right? Let's talk about Stan. One thing that I do want to point out about Stan is that he was to me, he was probably the scariest one if I'm gonna pick one that is the most scariest. But at the same time, we don't initially get his like what's really going on with him, but then we get this meetup with his trash parent too, and we realize that he's about to have his bar mitzvah, and he's trying to get ready for is it the bar where is that what they call it when they coming into, is it a bar mitzvah? What is it called?
Bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah.
I think it's called a bar mitzvah. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say the wrong thing, but where he's supposed to be coming into a man, and he has to repeat he has to learn like the Hebrew and do all the things, and his daddy say, "Listen, I'm whose son is you? Because why?" You just need to go ahead and put that book up because you ain't even saying this right. You can't even get this right. How you gonna be a rabbi, son? Y'all know I'm just adding on. But I mean, pretty much he told his son that he wasn't ish. Like, basically, you can't even do this. I can't believe this. It's just like the disappointment. And then there was something that he was really afraid of too, which was that painting, that weird looking painting. And of course, Pennywise, or AKA the entity Pennywise, will just keep calling him Pennywise because he can manifest into different things. Apparently, he's a shapeshifter. That's the other thing I wanted to say. He's a shapeshifter, so he can turn into all of these different things. So he, of course, shapeshifts into that painting that he's fearful of, and that's when we get one of his fears, and that's when we also get to see his home life. And again, this is Pennywise, like, harping on these people's trauma and harping on their fears, right? And just feeding off of this. And it's just crazy to me. But to be fair, Stan was probably my least favorite character, but I mean, he was still there. So let's talk about him. Tika?
I mean, Stan was a friend. That's all. Like that, his character, the only memorable moment I have about his character is just specifically that painting. Why was it that he was so afraid of that painting? Unfortunately, y'all, I still don't understand. Maybe Kay can help me understand why he was so afraid of that painting. But he still is Stan the one that decided he was gonna wait outside for him. Was he the one that was on guard? Yeah. So Stan, when he was not the ride or die. So I guess that would make him not my favorite, or my least favorite, I would say, because he wasn't with it. He wasn't in for the cause. He was like, I'm gonna just stand out here and I'll see y'all when y'all come back. But he tried his best. He did what he could, but he just was so afraid that he was literally paralyzed with fear at some points.
That thing almost got him too, boy. Penny almost got his butt. Okay.
I forgot to mention before when we were watching the movie that Stan is actually the uncle of little Teddy from Welcome to Derry. Although Teddy didn't make it, because remember he's the little Jewish kid that was in the first episode. So Stan is technically his uncle. But as we can see, neither one of them made it out of Stan made it out of childhood, but not very far. But Stan, his fear was a little bit greater than everybody else's because he was a skeptic. And, skeptics aren't, they don't, and he was this way kind of like up until it came for him, that he was thinking it had to be another reason. It had to be something else. Like, it can't be what y'all saying. Like, it can't be this serious and this deep. And when your wall is up that high that you can't believe in any supernatural or paranormal forces, when it hits you head on, he did not process it well. Like Stan, and you'll see when we get to it chapter 2, he did not process the experience of Pennywise very well. Like, it traumatized him a little bit harder than it did everybody else.
I can see that though. He looked like he gonna be full of trauma. We gotta move on to little Richie. Richie was the comedian. Everything was laughs and giggles and funny for him. Like everything was a joke for him. And I feel like that's and we never ever actually get to see what his actual trauma was, or if he had any. We didn't get to see his. I don't remember seeing his parents or anything, but anybody who hides stuff like that within laughter all the time and always making jokes always makes me feel like there's something else. But we just, I don't feel like we ever got that from part one, and maybe in part two, they may explore a little bit more as they get older. Because if I'm not mistaken, part two is where we're going to see them as adults. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some more information over there. But Richie was just like, look, it is. I'm not with the ish. Like he wasn't with it, but at the same time, he was there for his friends at the end of the day. I actually low key liked Richie. He was just funny. He was just always coming with the jokes and stuff. But come to find out, he was afraid of clowns. But I don't know why he was afraid of clowns. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't know the underlying reasoning behind it. It's because it feels like everybody else had a specific thing that was happening with him, but between Richie and Ben, there was just no very, very specific thing. So anyhow, I'm gonna give it to y'all on Richie. I don't have too much on him. I just thought he was cute. He was cute. And is this the one that was from Stranger Things? Because I feel like I went and looked at the little promo picture and I was like, is this the one that's from Stranger Things? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, you go ahead and start with Richie.
Yes, Richie was the comic relief, and he's going to be that as the adults too, which I actually liked the adult portrayal of Richie as well. But usually, especially in childhood, when people are like give you that class clown type of thing, is because he somehow wants to feel like accepted in a way. And I think that was his way of trying to find a place within a friendship or something. Even though they all call themselves the losers, but he had to, everybody got to play their role. And he said, well, if this is going to be the way that I make friends, this is going to be the way that I make friends. So it was his coping mechanism for trying to be accepted by everybody.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I like that. Tika, thoughts on Richie?
Yeah, he was definitely the class clown, and yeah, he was that jokester. Richie was indeed laughing through some pain. However, sometimes Richie was just coming in at the wrong time with some of his jokes, and I'm just like, bruh, okay, you little brother, little friend. I understand you. There's something that you're afraid of, or that you have dealt with in life. So give everybody else a break. Like you talking about people's toes and grown little boy eggplants. Like you talking about the most. You clowning and calling Beverly a 304. Like boy, like you need to calm down. Like you're doing too much. It's a time and a place for everything. However, they gave us the Richie throughout the entire movie, even until the end, where the drama extremely kicks up to the top tier. Like he was still there throwing in his jokes, so he had to maneuver through his pain, and I guess that was the best way that he knew how to do it. So, not my favorite, but he wasn't the worst or the least favorite.
Gotcha. So we gotta move on to Eddie. Eddie's mom is ridiculous. I do have a slide for Eddie's mom just when I talk about the trash parents, but Eddie's mom was doing way too much with the placebo drugs. I forgot the diseases and Munchausen's or something, where people like try to make their kids sick and stuff like that, and just projecting all these things. Eddie thought he was really out here with all these allergies and had the most going on, and turns out Eddie just wasn't sick. And it ended up being the little bully chick from the very beginning of the movie, when we meet Beverly, who comes into the bathroom and pours the water on her head and does all the things. It ends up being her that tells him, like, look, those ain't real. And, you know, coming to that revelation and then actually seeing his mom where she's very, very overprotective, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on with Eddie. But at the end of the day, Eddie just struck me as just that friend that was just going to be there. Eddie didn't give too much pushback on a lot of things, in my opinion. You know, the only person that got punched was Richie when he was doing the absolute most, but Eddie was good peeps. I like Eddie. I don't know. I hope he makes it in part 2, but I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait and see. Kay, your thoughts on Eddie?
You know, poor little Eddie, because of the Munchausens from his mom. She projected that onto him to where he became a hypochondriac. So he always assumed that things were wrong with him because she made him feel that way. And so Pennywise played upon that fear that Eddie had of sickness and disease and illness. So that's why when he appeared to him, it was like this person with leprosy, which was his fear as a projection from his mom. She make him think something's wrong. Now he thinks he's something is wrong with him. And so he just thinks he needs this inhaler and he thinks he needs this medicine and he just don't like germs and stuff like that. When all of this was like pushed onto him, and him being around the Losers Club, he was able to see there's actually real things out here to be afraid of other than the things you and your mom made up. Like, we really going through stuff out here, Eddie. Like, it's some real fears happening. So the things that you think that you're afraid of, you're going to have to toss that to the side because we got bigger fish to fry. And I think the more he started to learn that, the more that started to give him that voice to stand up to his mom to say, like, look, lady, I'm fine.
Okay, that part. Tik, I'm actually going to move on to Mike with you because we meet Mike, right? And they're bullying the heck out of him. I mean, definitely a capital R in this particular movie. It was a lot of it going on. Definitely a lot of racism when it came to Mike. And then we do have to remember, I forgot what year it was, but I mean, it's a small town, so I could definitely see I could see this. What was this? 80? This is in the 80s, right?
88, 89.
Yeah, okay.
It was
definitely still, especially if you're in a place like Derry, like they're at, and then we had Henry, who was the town bully. Him and his little friends was out here trying to, they was out here trying to get at Mike, but Mike's fear we see kind of manifest when he's running from them, and we see the hands coming out of the door and we hear the people, and then come to find out his parents actually died in a fire. And we'll actually talk about Mike's character, that is how he's related a little bit later with Mike's character as well, because his character in Meet Derry actually has an interesting connection as well. So I like the way that they did this whole. I'm glad we went to the 2017 version of it instead of going the other route, because there's a lot of connections there. But just what are your overall thoughts over Mike?
Yeah, Mike I think he received the worst of the worst physical bullying out of all of the kids. I had so much empathy for him. And then to be the only Black kid in this little community, or at least the one that we're introduced to, and see him go through all of the things, and not to mention what he has dealt with his parents, and then to also meet his grandfather, Mr. Cora, teaching him how to slaughter lamb and take those little animals out. There's not a lot for him or about him that I can say. Just that he did endure a lot throughout this whole film, or this one particular movie. And then, for him to replay in the back of his mind, his parents being, unalived, and just all of the things, it was just a lot. And then you go from that vision, matter of fact, isn't he like, oh, no, he's related to somebody that has an ability, like a psychic ability, or something like that, intuitive or something like that. Anyway, he had a lot going on, y'all. I can't even get all my words or my thoughts together about Mike. He just had a lot going on. But I'm glad that he did find the Losers. They kind of became somewhat of a safe haven for him. They actually kind of helped him when he was getting, bullied. So, you know, they may be losers, but they're winners in my book because they helped Mike. They helped out Mike.
Yeah, I like the fact that they was out here having a rock fight. I said, well, let's go. I ain't never seen a rock fight before, but they had a real deal rock fight and them kids was getting hit. I said, dang, y'all, these kids is getting hit with these rocks. I don't even know how many rocks you can take. God dang, they was tearing them up with those rocks. But the losers ended up winning. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna talk about Beverly. Beverly is a character that we meet. We actually meet her in the bathroom, as a matter of fact. And there is a interesting little thing that happens with her in Welcome to Derry as well, with her character's father. Told you I went down a rabbit hole with this one, and we'll talk about that later too. But Beverly, we meet her in the stall, right? The bullies come in there, they done poured the water, stuff like people be calling her 304s, like all sorts of stuff. Meanwhile, she's at home dealing with sexual abuse from her creepy father, who clearly is perverted. I mean, they don't go all the way in on it, but I mean, we know, right? Like we know what's happening there. And then we get her father, he touches her hair and he says all these things. And the first thing she does is she goes and cuts her hair. We get in the bathroom, and this is where we see her fears kind of come, and the hair coming out of the thing is pulling her in the sink. We got all the blood. We know that she was just, you know, going through the change, right? She was y'all know what I'm talking about. Trying to use all the YouTube friendly words because y'all know how they be sometimes. But we meet her at this moment when she's getting her cycle for the first time. So I think all of those things kind of play a part in how her fear kind of manifested in that bathroom when the father wasn't able to see it, but you know, everybody else, the kids are all able to see it, which I also find interesting too, as well. But I know that there's, like you said, there's something going on that's keeping them from seeing certain things. I love the moment where she helps them with the Ben situation, because there's a moment when Ben gets cut up by the bully and they're in there trying to get all the drugs and stuff. So she flirts with the guy at the counter, which he also has an interesting connection to. I'll talk about that later too. But she's flirting with him, and so that they can get out the door. So I just really enjoyed the character Beverly. There's a little love triangle that's going on. Like, I liked her character. I can't wait to see this character as an adult, and I hope she makes it. Kay, thoughts?
Yeah, again, Stephen King be on that stuff, because he did the whole story of Carrie revolving around her experience of getting her first cycle, and that's kind of what reminded me of you ain't seen Carrie? Yeah. So it's a whole thing that happens there. So I don't know why Stephen King was like somewhat a little bit fixated on like this age group of girls going through that and dealing with I'm like, Stephen, you don't know how traumatic that is for people. How is you making horror movie material out of this? I have no idea how he got there. But knowing that this is what she's going through, and at her age, and it can be scary for her to have to go through that at this age, knowing that her dad is abusing her, because we know what that could eventually lead to. So that is a trauma place for Bev, and she doesn't have any, little female friends or anything, and because they all, think she's a garden tool and that she want to mess with everybody, man, and she don't even talk to nobody at school at all. She's actually and her dad is a janitor. So even outside of that, they pick on her because her dad is a janitor. Like, she can't win for losing at this point. And so, yes, very ideal candidate for membership to the Losers Club.
Okay, that part. And then last but not least, we have little Ben. Ben is new to the town. So that makes him kind of that outsider in a sense, because he don't know nobody. He's new. People are picking on him, calling him the new person, and he likes new kids on the block. They may not know that, but listen, I was here for it. New kids on the block. When he meets Beverly, is one of the first people he meets who actually signs his book, which was so cute and sweet. He ends up writing her appointment, everything, which she thought was from Billy. Then come to find out it wasn't from old Bill. And I felt like she was low-key disappointed that it wasn't from Bill. He ends up waking her up from her sleep, like Sleeping Beauty, when she gets caught up in the light. I forgot what they called it. It's something. But anyway, it's just another way that it can like mesmerize.
The dead light.
Dead light, that's what they call it. Yeah, the dead light. It's just another way that it can take, like if you don't have fear, then it can hit you with the dead light because it feeds off of fear. But at that moment when he tried to, feed off of her, she wasn't scared. Like she wasn't fearful at all. So he hit her with that dead light, and then that made her float, which is where we also got to see the floating kids when we had been given this reference for like the longest. I want to float. I forgot what it said. Some words. What did they say? You'll float, or whatever they were saying about floating. But we got to see all these other kids are up in the air floating. And I was like, oh, okay. So they floating for real floating. I think Stephen King also has something with water too. I mean, he was like, I don't know. It's just like, as I was like going more and more into a hole, I was like, dang, he done made a lot of stuff that got to do with like water stuff, or maybe water references are just horror references. Water reference a horror thing, like water horror. I don't know. I don't get it, but I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole, and then it just went into this whole thing about water being used in a lot of horror stuff like that. So, anywho, y'all, whose go is it? Talking about Ben, Tika, Ben.
Yeah, I like Ben. He was a cute character for me. With the whole New Kids on the Block reference, I mean, like every New Kids on the Block reference between he and Beverly. And I thought that was gonna be her babe. Like I thought they were about to make a love connection. Until the note, she got the note, and she thought it came from. He still ended up, being the one to kind of save her. And I will say his punishment or his bullying was definitely another worse bullying for me, because Henry was not Henry. Yeah, Henry literally was carving an H in his stomach, and he was getting ready to carve the whole name. Like, so he really did endure a lot just because he was a new kid on the block. He spent a whole lot of time in the library. So needless to say, he probably almost read everything that was in that library just to keep from going home and dealing with whatever was at home. But also he had his nice little project, and he was trying to put how you gonna carry that project and nothing is glued down, and then you got your bicycle in the other hand, your headphones are dragging behind you. But it was still cute. And like you said, Beverly was the one that signed his yearbook. And, I was here for it. I like the little cute moment with the two of them. And, we're going to see a glow up on Ben. And I'm so happy. I'm so looking forward to talking about season or part 2 when we get to meet Ben in part 2. But yeah, he was one of my.
Dang, Tika, you already know what that part 2 too?
Girl, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it.
Now I'm behind. I just didn't want to get nothing confused. So I was just waiting. But so we meet the bullies, y'all. We have Patrick, we have Henry, and I don't know what this other dude name. All I remember is him belching. So I just put Belch dude up there because that's his real name. Oh, okay.
I didn't know what Huggins.
Oh, okay. Because girl, I really didn't know. I said question mark, the dude that belched. So anyway, we meet these three, and it's not really much to talk about these three. About the two in the back. It's one of them gets got, Patrick, because he's gonna go up in there, and I didn't care. I was like, good for him. But Henry has an interesting connection to the Welcome to Derry as well. He's also a relative, but more than that, feel like all of the Bowers are trifling because I don't like the ones in Welcome to Derry either. Don't like them here. Don't like the ones in this, in the because let's see, this right here is afterwards. So I don't like the ones in the before them. So right, that's Welcome to Derry is a prequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The sheriff is his granddaddy.
Yeah. So I'm just like. I don't know. This is just crazy to me. But anyway, Henry is a big bully. He's a big bully. He tried to carve his name into Ben. He tried to beat Mike. every time we turn around, he's hitting somebody, he's chasing after somebody. I'm like, when do you have time to do anything else if this is all you do all day in this car? But then as soon as you see your father, you clam up. But it just goes to show that hurt people hurt people. I mean, at the end of the day, his daddy done shot all at his foot when he was out there trying to shoot a cat.
Because ain't that crazy? Your own dad shoot a gun at your feet.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Absolutely crazy. He tried to shoot a cat, y'all. So y'all know that's a sign right there that something is wrong with this little boy. And then when it was all said and done, Henry got basically taken over, I would say, by the entity, because the entity definitely got into his head and told him, like, look, you need to go ahead and off your father. And that's exactly what he does. But he said, don't just stop there. You need to take out everybody. And so he decides to do that as well. Now, I am going to show y'all a deleted scene from the, it's not in the regular movie. I think they did a director's cut later. I didn't see the director's cut, but I did see like a couple of the deleted scenes, and I just brought one of them over so we can look at it. But other than that, Tika, your take on the bullies?
Yeah, Patrick got what he deserved. I was hoping Henry was going to get the same fate. But then we see that Henry is going through some stuff at home. Like you said, EJ, hurt people hurt people. Him and his mullet, I was hoping they would just go ahead and take him and his mullet out. But you know, we'll see what's going to happen to Henry. Like you said, Belch and Patrick were literally just followers. They did pretty much everything that Henry Bowers told them to do. So if Henry told them to jump off the top of a building, they would probably do it. That's how much of followers they were. Yeah. 10 out of 10. I definitely hated these three characters. And I try not to use the word hate, but they were the three that I hated.
I'm okay with it. Hate it. Kay, any thoughts over the bullies?
Yeah, the Bowers family is trash. They was trash from the time the granddaddy put that little girl on the chopping block just so he can get some votes to keep his position as the sheriff. You should have already known. And it's unfortunate that Henry turned out the way that he did, but we see he didn't get that way by himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That is very, very true. He definitely has some trauma himself, which is probably why Pennywise was so easily able to control him the way that he did when it was all said and done. And speaking of trash parents, there were a couple of trash parents that I wanted to talk about. There was Bill's dad, who I'm just like, dude, like, this is a time that you should be embracing your child. I get that you're also going through something, but in my mind, the kid is always going to be the kid, right? They're always going to be the one that's going to be able to handle these things less effective than an adult can. Like, it's always going to, I feel like it's always going to hit them a little bit harder. And as a parent, you don't have a choice but to be there for your kid, even if you're going through something. Like, it just is what it is. And I just hate the way Bill's dad, just even like the way that he talked to him, the way that he just dismissed everything, and you better not let your mom see it, yada yada yada. I just hate trash parents, y'all. Bill, I have him as a trash parent. I have Stan's dad as a trash parent, and I have Bev's dad, the pervert trash parent, and also Richie's mom, trash parent. And I'm gonna start with you, Tika, and you can choose any one of them, and your thoughts over all these trash parents.
Richie's mama was just nasty, trash, hot garbage, the water in the trash can, all of those nasty things, making this boy take these pills that he doesn't even need. And then she laying up there with her sloppy behind on the couch or on the reclining chair. Come give mommy a kiss. Girl, if you don't get your little nasty self, it's given you might be touching this boy too. You might be doing some other things with him too. I just was so disgusted by her actions. And that's why I felt empathy for Rich. But yeah, I was hoping that that little entity would enter into his brain and go home and
Oh,
take
I
Mama
put Rich.
Dearest
This
out.
is Eddie. My bad, y'all. This is
Or
Eddie's
Ed,
mom. I put
or
Richard.
Ed. I was
My
hoping
bad.
that she would be sent up to the moon too, because she was just disgusting to me. And then Ben's dad, he could have been a little bit more understanding. This has built a model to show you that things can come out to the end of the other side. Like, it's worth, investigating. He just didn't give a damn about how Ben was feeling. Like, Ben is a whole baby. He just didn't give a damn and was like, throw this ish away, take it down, snatch your stuff down. I was just like, wow. Like, Bill is already filled with grief and then and guilt, and this is how you treat them. But just like Kay said, the parents don't give a damn about none of these kids. and they're clueless to, they're not able to see, what these kids are really going through. But those were
That
my
part.
two.
Okay, Kay.
Oh yeah, and the parents are trash, but it's not their fault that they trash, because they're spellbound and they can't help it. Pennywise has all of the parents in, like, sort of possessed to the point to where they are complicit in allowing him to commit the crimes that he's doing without their interference. Like, the parents never once, they don't jump in and save the kids. They not jumping in to save nobody else kids. They are just like, you know what, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. And whatever it is, whatever happens. Like, they're like, I don't see nothing, so I don't say nothing. And this makes it to the point where all the children start to feel isolated. And it's easier to manipulate, exploit, and abduct a child when they feel isolated. If you're afraid to tell someone, or if you try to tell someone and they're not going to believe you, or they're going to think that you're crazy or something. And all of this is by design. So the children can be isolated, they can be traumatized, and they can be afraid. And the parents are just going about their regular day, like, that's just a normal day in the town of Derry.
And while I do get that, but what I don't get is that these others, like, I'll give that to maybe Bill's dad. He the only one who gonna get a pass. But Bev's dad, pervert, no. Eddie's mom, no. The rabbi, no. Like, all those parents just suck internally. They just horrible people. I don't like them. Don't like them at all. So I have some favorite parts, y'all, of this particular movie, and I want to hear what y'all favorite parts are. Some of my favorite parts were the house scene when he fell through that doggone thing and broke his arm. I was like, oh my God. When Eddie fell down and then they tried to pop his arm back in place. When Ben kissed old girl, and then when we shift to her kissing him, basically the love triangle, the fact that Ben liked her, but she liked Bill, and all because she thought that Bill wrote the letter that she was so enamored with, and then it wasn't even him. Like, that was just crazy to me. But overall, that was one of my favorite parts. And then I also liked when Henry took out his dad. I just liked the way it all played out, and gone. And then I love the ending scene. I love the sewer fight. I thought the sewer fight was I thought it was shot really, really well. Like, I enjoyed all of it. Just seeing them go after Pennywise, seeing them try to take him down when they were jumping on him and they were just doing all the things everybody was trying to make teamwork, make the dream work. I loved all of that. Those were some of my favorite parts. What were some of your favorite parts, Sika?
Hell, you posted them. Because just seeing after the mistreatment of Henry from his father, and to see that he was going to be, he was strong enough to go in there, and even though Pennywise had his mind, he was still able to go in there and take him out. Now, I did not like the fact that while they in there fighting and knucking and bucking against Pennywise, here come Henry's behind in the way, like adding on to the fight. But the sword fight, that was crazy. All of them trying to go up against this entity. That was a lot. And then also one other thing in that moment was when Bill saw his brother Georgie, and he ended up having to take him out. But I was like, is he really here? or is he really gone? Am I, it'll mess with you. It'll mess with you. Like, was he really here, or is was he gone? Is he gone now? From that moment. Yeah, and then they went through the house. It was like a whole haunted house situation. He bust his behind going through that ceiling. I was like, oh my gosh. But this overall was a heck of a movie. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie, but I still, held it down and I still watched.
I held it down. Okay. Hey, what are your okay? What were your favorite parts of the movie? Being that you've probably seen it multiple times, and you're raising a little horror fan as well. So let me know what your favorite parts of the movie was.
I like the scene where he came out of the projector, the film screen.
Oh, he was big too. Oh God, he was big.
Because I'm just like that. I remember when I, first seeing that, and it's just like, how do you tell somebody like this happens? Like, how do you explain that this is going on? And it was, with the whole Losers Club there together. Like, everybody is seeing him come out, and they couldn't do nothing with him. And I like how they redid that in the Welcome to Derry when he comes through the screen at the movie theater in a different form. So that was definitely one of my favorite scenes because it's one of the creepiest scenes. And I also I like the scene where he's like dancing because he's like literally taunting them. Yeah. He's dancing in front of him like, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna do anything and everything I can so that y'all are like deathly afraid of me. But at the same time, it's like it's funny to be at the same time, like I'm gonna entertain and scare you at the same time. So which one do you want?
Okay, that part. Yeah, that was interesting. So at the very end, y'all, we have this blood pact, right? I don't know what the blood was necessary for. I don't get it. But anyway, I just felt like it was, the possible setup for part 2, which is, because he comes back every 27 years. That we know. So of course he's gonna come back, but they've all made this promise to come back and fight if this should happen. So being that I have not seen part 2 yet, I don't really know what's going to happen. I do know that they are going to be adults. So I am going to assume that is exactly what happens. He comes back and they come back to keep the promise that they made in this pact. Most likely. Does that about sum it up? Is that what happens? They come back to this? Yeah, that's what I figured. All right. So, dang it, I was not supposed to show y'all that. I was going to ask y'all, how many people do y'all actually think actually got in this particular part 1? Because I figured, I was like, man, Penny, he probably out here just taking people out. Then I went back and I was like, dang, Penny. So how many people do y'all think actually got, and not the assumed people, but that we actually saw get got?
Like the body count for this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Yeah, Georgie. We took Henry's dad. We saw. Trying to think. Body count. Who did we actually? Did Bev's dad survive?
Yeah, we can't really count him because we don't know if he died or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
when what's his name came in there, he was still like you can still kind of hear him. I don't know if he died or not, so who knows? So I didn't count him.
Probably like a handful.
Count the floating bodies.
I didn't count the floating bodies because we didn't actually see them go, so I didn't count them either. Only the people who actually got that we saw.
2 or 3, I don't know.
Yeah.
Patrick. Did you say Patrick?
I was just gonna say one of the bullies.
Yeah,
one of the bullies.
Patrick ass, he deserved that too. But
these are the actual people who got in the movie. It was only 3. Like I really thought it was more. Some of them we can assume, like the dad, but we don't know because he actually didn't we never confirmed it. We never actually see Betsy or whatever her name is. We never see her actually get got. We see her in a manifestation when they're in a fear, but we never see her get got. So we can't count her. Can't count any of these people that we didn't see none of it. We only saw Georgie, we only saw Bowers, and we only saw Patrick. So it was 3 of them in total, which I found interesting because I really felt like it was gonna be like more. This was one of the deleted scenes, y'all. Can't count them because they didn't actually show it to us in the actual movie, but in a deleted scene, in the director's cut version of this, when he tells him to go take out everybody, he goes and he takes out his friends. And this is the scene where he's sitting out in the car. Remember when they're going into the house and he's sitting out and you can see his car sitting over there, where he's sitting up in the car with these 2 like this. Wow. That's actually what's happening. So I was like, man, okay, exactly. Okay, like compared to what's happening right now over at I said, woo, they already on their way. They was taking them out right from the jump on Welcome to Derry. So, there's that. So decided to go ahead and bring up the Welcome to Derry connections. So of course we have Mike, who we've learned Will is his father. If you are looking at Welcome to Derry, Will is Major Hanlon's dad, and Charlotte, I think it's his mom's name, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like it's Charlotte. Ain't it Charlotte? Yeah, I think it's Charlotte. Yeah. Charlotte. And they have a son named Will, who is Mike is Will's father, and Major Hanlon is Will's grandfather. And then, of course, we have, Kay talked about this earlier, which made so much sense now after the fact. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, why did they take him out like that, though? Why did they get rid of him like that? But because he gets got right from the jump. But Teddy in Welcome to Derry and Stan have a connection, uncle, as Kay said. And then we have the Bowers, of course, where we have, I think it's his grandfather, right? It's the grandfather. It's his grandfather, the one that's over here acting up in Derry, trying to get that little girl to lie. I said, no, you cool. But now that we've looked at it, like now that I've seen this and then putting the connections together, I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. You just trash. You just been raising a whole slew of trash kids. Period. Okay, that's what it all boiled down to. Now, another interesting connection is the bathroom connection. So if you look at the 2017 version, when Beverly is in the bathroom, on the wall, you can actually see not Beverly, the other girl, Maddie, not Maddie,
Lily.
Lily. When Lily, remember when you can see in the bathroom, no, it's in the 2017 version. I'm getting it confused. In the 2017 version, you can see, no, it's in the other one. I can't remember which one it is. I didn't have the screenshot. I tried to put the screenshot so I would not forget who it was. In the bathroom stall, you're going to see what's his name on the wall. So it has to be the Welcome to Derry. Now that I think about it, it has no choice but to be that. You're going to see his name on the bathroom stall, the perverted dad. His name is going to be on the stall in the bathroom, which I guess is a connection to how we met Beverly in the beginning, because we met her in the stall in the bathroom. But his name is going to be up there with like a little heart or something. I never paid attention because I didn't know who that was, but after doing a little bit of digging, found that out too. I was like, oh, okay. I said I would have never made that connection because I wouldn't have never known. And I forgot, I think there were some other connections, but I think they come a little bit later. Once you get into part 2, is when you start getting a few of the other connections. So I won't even bring those up because I didn't even put them on the thing. But I did think this was cute that they're trying to, like really make it make sense. I love a good continuity thing.
And the Welcome to Derry sign remains the same. Oh, yeah. Downtown area.
Yeah, all of that stuff looks very, very, like, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it all looks very much the same. The theater, all that stuff. So they did good. So anyway, y'all, that's what's up with That was part 1, y'all. And of course, we'll be back to talk about part 2 next week. What did y'all think about the movie itself? If you've already watched it, drop down in the chat. Let me know what you thought about it and all that good stuff. And just overall, guys, just, summation of your overall thoughts of this movie. Tika, would you have done this if we hadn't just said, let's watch it? Would you have watched this? I wouldn't have. I'm still the truth.
No lies told. I wouldn't have. It would not have been on my. Who says it wasn't on my bingo card? It was not on my bingo card to talk about at all. Yeah, I'm cool with Ronald McDonald. I grew up with Ronald McDonald. There used to actually be a real Ronald McDonald in McDonald's a long time ago. Like you really had the real Ronald McDonald. So this just would have took me out, and I would have never had a birthday party at McDonald's ever again had it been out or Pennywise been out during my rearage. Okay, so yeah,
they should really sue
no, ma'am.
Stephen King for that, because that really could have messed some people up.
Right,
seriously, that little clown. Because if you go back and look at the 1990 version, which I didn't look at it because I didn't have a strip, I just looked at some of the clips from it. That clown looked too much human, versus this one, which it looks way more CGI. I'm pretty sure that's what they use, but it looks way more CGI versus that other clown looked like a clown. Girl, the way I would have been scared out of ain't no way I would have ever had nothing to do with no clowns, period. After looking at that, they should have never even did that.
Yes, actually, funny story. Bill Skarsgård, they didn't use a lot of CGI with Bill, except for the special effects, like when they're the eating and stuff. But a lot of that, like the way he would hold his mouth and the way he would cock his eyes, that's all Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, nice.
He did
a good job. Clearly, because I was like, ain't no way. I was like, ain't no way they could have did that without it. But I guess, hey, listen, look, okay, go for it then. Listen, I'm not mad at it.
It's just that Tim Curry said back in the day that actually he was supposed to have more paint on his face, but he didn't like all he didn't like to sit through the makeup and stuff. He told him, I could be creepy without all that. Let me do less is more. I show you creepy without all of that. And he actually really was. Tim Curry he made a good ass Pennywise too.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I was reading some stuff where they were saying that the original, I guess that would be Tim Curry, that the original Pennywise, that was he did a really, really good job at bringing him. I was like, well, I'll never know because I'm not going to go look at it.
Why?
Because I had enough at this one.
I want to see.
You go ahead. You let me know.
There's also a good documentary on Tubi. I mentioned this earlier during the our screening, but there's a documentary for those who are into Stephen King and his shenanigans and how he put together the series of it and all of if y'all want to go back and take a deep dive and see how weird Stephen King looked back in that time, check out the documentary right there on Tubi. It's playing right now.
Okay, that's
and I think you could probably watch it. I think you could probably watch the 1990 version on Tubi as well.
Okay, that's what's up. And it's on HBO too. If you have HBO right now. No, I'm gonna have HBO right now while Welcome to Derry is on. It's questionable if it's gonna stay around. It depends.
Go on and watch that 1990s version. It's something about 90s horror that hit a little bit different.
Girl, I'll think about it. I'm real busy right now. I got a lot of stuff done.
Throw it on in the background. Just let it play.
Nah, I'm good on that one. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I almost watched it, but I was like, but I am kind of glad that we came over here to this one because I love a good connection. Yeah. I love making connections, and just knowing that just makes that so much better for me. So, but yeah, y'all, that was it. Kay, what you got going on your channel, girl?
Welcome to Derry. Dropping review for episode 3 tonight. I watched Frankenstein, so I have that review premiering tomorrow. Also, we'll be covering Predator Badlands. Hopefully this week, doing some recap of Stranger Things to get ready for the final season, which premieres in a couple of weeks.
Hey, that's what's up.
And finishing off Reasonable Doubt season finale Friday.
Yes. Episode 10. Tik and I have not seen all of Stranger Things. I think I personally only saw like the first couple of episodes. She might have saw the full season. Like you might have saw season 1,
I saw
right?
the full first season, and then that was it.
And then yeah, me too. So at some point we are gonna go revisit that. But we're gonna do that one in our reaction world. If we revisit that one, because yeah, and we just gonna have to. I mean, it's too much to go back and look. Yeah, we wasn't gonna catch up, so we was just like, yeah, okay. But anywho, as far as TV Junkie is concerned, of course, the Family Business, y'all know that happens on Sunday. And then I'm going to be doing a subscriber theory video. The one I promised you guys for is something about the sniper, whatever it was, it's going to happen. I'll have that up this week. And then Reasonable Doubt, of course, we'll be finishing that up. We finally get to figure out who it was. And I'll actually do my full review over the entire season as a video. And then we'll have the live show on Friday. So definitely check that out if you're into that. And then as far as the collab channel is concerned, right after we get done here, we are going to be talking about the Talamasca. We're going to be talking about episode 4. And then Thursday, we're going to talk about All Is Fair. We'll drop a few reaction videos sometime this week as well. And then on Saturday, we'll talk about Power Book 4 Force. And then we'll just start it all over again with Married at First Sight on Sunday. And then, same old. We'll be talking about It's Part 2. And hopefully, Kay, you can come and join us again to talk about the Part 2 version. Tika, what you got going on over there on All Things Ruthless? And did I miss anything on the collab channel?
No, you got the collab channel down pack, as well as Friends and Lovers. We're going to do that on Talk That Talk. And then, your girl got her calendar up here. I'm ready. Married at First Sight. I know you mentioned that. And but that's pretty much it. EJ has covered everything she said. She mentioned Force. So y'all just stay locked in. Come join us. We appreciate all the engagement that you guys are giving to us over here on Talk That Talk Media. And the only other thing that I have going on right now on All Things Ruthless is the Oval, baby. Okay? The Oval. And last but not least, y'all, make sure y'all check out my short. I just locked Pennywise up. So make sure y'all check out the short video that I did. It's on Talk That Talk Media. I had to lock his ass up because he was doing too much. I learned that you got to lock him up in a glass cage. You can't just lock him up in a little regular room, okay? So anyway, just having fun with AI, just having fun with AI, and just join and come on over. Help us get on up to the 500 mark to start over here on Talk That Talk Media. We appreciate all of the things you guys continually coming back and for checking us out. We appreciate it all. And that's pretty much it for me, EJ.
All right. Well, we're about to get up out of here, y'all. We appreciate it. And yeah, y'all go see Tika take him down because I had a good old cackle out of that earlier. That mess was funny. I said, no, she didn't. Anyway, I said nothing. Anyway, y'all, we'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Talk that. Talk that. Talk that. Talk that. Talk that. Talk that.